New York Times just revealed secret details about Donald Trump's debate prep for his upcoming debate with Joe Biden. We've got information about how he's preparing, what he's preparing, and even how serious he's taken this debate. I've got all the juicy details coming right up. We are just days away from Donald Trump and Joe Biden meeting on the debate stage for the first time this election cycle. Everybody's excited to see these two guys get on stage and go at it. And the right seems to think that Donald Trump is going to walk all over Joe Biden. But lately, they may be trying to reel that back a bit because they seem to be trying to lower expectations. For example, Donald Trump is now floating the idea that Joe Biden should take a drug test before they debate. As ridiculous as that sounds, that was not part of the deal when they negotiated the terms of the debates.
No, I have fake tappers. They said, I just want to debate this guy, but, and I'm going to demand a drug test, too, by the way. I am. No, I really am. I don't want him coming in like the State of the Union. He was high as a kite. I said, is that Joe up there? A beautiful robe? And by the end of the evening, he's like, well, he was exhausted, right? No, we're going to demand a drug test.
I'm not so sure Donald Trump could pass a drug test, so he might want to worry about himself and not Joe Biden. But that's not the only pathetic excuse that Donald Trump's trying to use. He's now saying he just might lose the first debate on purpose. Sounds like somebody's preparing their audience for a bad performance.
I'll lose the debate on purpose. Maybe I'll do something like that. But
boy, that is so sad to hear. Donald Trump doesn't sound very confident about his ability to perform during the debate. And even Sean Hannity is trying to help Trump out here by suggesting that maybe he doesn't even show up for the first debate.
Now, there are some even saying, Mark, that Donald Trump might be wise to just pass on the first debate, wait till he's nominated, then debate him. What would you say to that?
Oh, I'm sure some people are suggesting that Donald Trump not show up for the first debate. Surely those people exist. It seems like Sean Hannity is just putting feelers out there to see if his audience will support Donald Trump skipping the first debate. How pathetic. So you can see why someone like myself would think that Donald Trump is looking for a way out of this debate. He was running his mouth for a long time about Joe Biden's scared of me and Joe Biden won't debate me. But if you recall, it was actually Joe Biden who very publicly challenged Donald Trump to a debate.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Boy, that free on Wednesdays line was so good. In any case, we're now getting information about just how seriously Donald Trump is taking his upcoming debate with Joe Biden. Maggie Haberman, New York Times reporter, sat down with Anderson Cooper on CNN and provided a bunch of details. Check this out.
There are new details about how Donald Trump is preparing. They suggest, as the New York Times' Maggie Haberman will explain in a moment, that behind closed doors, the former president is taking it seriously. At the same time, very publicly, he's also laying the groundwork, in case he doesn't do so well on the debate stage, by making completely wild claims that a good Biden performance will be drug-enhanced.
He's going to be so pumped up. He's going to be pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House? What happened? Who left it? Somebody left it there. I wonder, let's see, somebody left a laptop in an office of a gentleman who was supposed to fix the laptop from hell. He never picked it up, and somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I wonder who that could have been.
What in the world is Donald Trump talking about? Hundreds of thousands of dollars of cocaine found at the White House. If I recall, there was a tiny little bag of cocaine that was found in some cubby where people store their phones when they come visit the White House at an entrance nowhere near the residence. There's no reason to believe that Joe Biden or even Hunter Biden would be anywhere near that cubby where the little bag of cocaine was found. What a strange story from Donald Trump's mouth. But it's also ridiculous to claim that Joe Biden will be on drugs. His State of the Union speech was just a normal speech by Joe Biden after being able to rest and prepare for the full day. Joe Biden did such a good job with that State of the Union that the only cope the right could come up with is that Joe Biden was on some sort of undisclosed drugs. Crazy talk.
Joining us now with the new debate prep reporting, New York Times senior political correspondent Maggie Haberman. So what have you heard about how Trump is taking this?
As you note, there are ample opportunities for Trump to make flubs, as much as he tries to point out what Biden does. Trump is taking this more seriously than people allow publicly, right? I mean, in public, his aides often downplay the prep that he does.
Right.
He's been doing not standard debate prep. He doesn't have stand-ins as of now for Biden in these debates.
So he's not doing mock debates.
He's not doing mock debates. No, that could certainly change. But he's been doing what they've been describing as policy time, where they bring in different people to brief him. A bunch of senators have come in. Last week, Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Eric Schmidt both briefed him at the RNC headquarters after his meetings with lawmakers around Capitol Hill, which was his first major meeting with party members since he became the presumptive nominee. And they are focusing on various issues that could come up: abortion, health care, energy, COVID, and then very specifically, and this was one thing that came up last Thursday, what Trump will say when asked January 6th related questions, particularly his statements about pardoning some of the people who were arrested in connection with the violence that day.
So you're telling me all these Republican senators are going to come in and provide Trump with detailed policy information? There's no way this is going to work. Trump is probably the worst student in the world. He must be sitting there with ants in his pants, unable to focus. This is going to be a disaster for Donald Trump. And as far as January 6th goes, Donald Trump should stay as far away from that one as possible. When the moderator asks him about January 6th, he should say, "I never heard of it."
So will he, do you know, will he try to be vague and not be pinned down on whether he'll pardon them all?
On that one, what they are hoping he is going to say, and again, who knows what he'll actually say, but what they're hoping he is going to say is some version of, it depends on the case. He has left it much broader in the past and said he'll likely pardon people, again, across the board. I think that they're going to try to have him point to specifics, including people who were arrested where they were not that close to the building.
Yeah, good luck convincing moderates and independents that some of the January 6ers shouldn't be locked up. These people were involved in a violent insurrection where cops were attacked and beaten. I don't think it's a winning issue, but if Trump wants to try to navigate that, go ahead.
Do you know in past
Or
debates,
inside the building,
did he do mock debates? I mean, did he have somebody playing somebody else?
Well, Chris Christie, played a version of Hillary Clinton, and he played a version of Biden in 2020, and then in 2016 before that. So, yeah, those were, look, Trump doesn't like prep. He considers it school. So the fact that they've gotten him to do it this way is actually pretty revealing, and also speaks to the fact that I think he knows that this has to go well for him. He has said to people multiple times that he knows that he interrupted too much in the first debate with Biden in 2020, and having just rewatched that debate recently, it's really striking. We all talked about it at the time, but Biden could barely get a word in edgewise, and Biden was kind of smiling throughout as this was happening.
I have a feeling Chris Christie will not be helping Donald Trump out this time. And I think that's kind of a big deal because Chris Christie was his main practice sparring partner in 2016 and 2020, as Maggie Haberman laid out right there. So somebody's going to have to fill that void, but it doesn't sound like Donald Trump has even started practicing debating anyways. And he's a little rusty, so he should probably get some of that practice in. Remember, Donald Trump skipped all the Republican primary debates. I thought that was a terrible idea. That was a great opportunity for Trump to get some more experience on the big stage and to shake off some of that rust, because it's been a while since he debated. And if you guys recall, he got whooped on by Joe Biden in the 2020 debates.
Vote now.
You're gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question
You wanna put a lot
is
of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right.
Gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the
unprecedented.
court.
Boy, that was such an awesome moment from Joe Biden, telling the sitting president of the United States to shut up right to his face. Now, before Anderson Cooper wrapped up his interview with Maggie Haberman, he had to go back to this topic of policy. He was just as incredulous as I am about Donald Trump being able to comprehend all of this policy and be able to explain it on stage. So listen to what Maggie Haberman said in response to that question.
It is interesting that he's, having all these people come in and talk policy, because policy is obviously not something that's front and center when you think of Donald Trump, or even in his long rambling rallies.
He has a series of agenda items that he can point to from when he was president, and that's what they're trying to focus his mind on. To your point, a lot of what he has talked about over the last 2 years has been grievances, his court cases. I think he has been so singular, and was during the Manhattan trial, so singularly focused on what was taking place there, that they're trying to get his mind back to what he can talk about what he did. There are things that I think he can speak to about policy, but there's also a lot of stuff that is going to be a problem for him. You know, the January 6th related questions, I think, are going to be a problem. The pardons question is going to be a problem. His promises of retribution are going to be a problem when those come up. And I anticipate President Biden will reference his criminal conviction. Now, I'm quite confident, based on my reporting, that Donald Trump will then point to Hunter Biden's criminal conviction. And this could be an uglier debate than we have seen in a very long time.
Great reporting from Maggie Haberman in the New York Times, providing all these details about what Donald Trump is doing to prepare for the debate. I think Donald Trump is scared to death of Joe Biden in this upcoming debate. Donald Trump and the right have lowered the bar so much that people are expecting Joe Biden to fall down on the ground and leave the debate early and not even be able to string any sentences together. But nothing could be further from the truth. Joe Biden flourishes in this sort of environment. He's going to have 2 minutes to explain his position on a policy. And I think so many people are going to tune in and be shocked at what they see. They are going to realize that this man is just fine. He's perfectly capable of being president for another 4 years, and all of their concerns are going to wash away. So I'm excited for this upcoming debate. I can't wait to watch Joe Biden whoop on Donald Trump one more time. Donald Trump is going to flounder like he always does and make a fool of himself. So I think a lot of people are going to be talking about Donald Trump after this debate and how terrible he looked, not Joe Biden.